Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona and Atlético Madrid. Barcelona were able to beat Atlético Madrid 1-0 with a goal coming from Joao Felix. And so we are going to be discussing what are the 4 things that we have learned from this match. Now look, Barcelona probably gave one of the best performances this season. We can argue that maybe one of Barcelona's best performances that were better was against Antwerp that ended 5-0 or against Real Betis that also ended 5-0. But I think that what separates this match against Atlético Madrid is that Atlético Madrid is one of the best teams in the world, and the fact that Barcelona were able to outplay one of the best teams in the world, I would say that this match and this performance is above the ones of Antwerp and Real Betis, where we won 5-0 instead of 1-0. Like, really think about that, right? Because we're talking about a Atlético Madrid side that does give a lot of difficulty to Liverpool back in 2019. They have given a lot of difficulty to Man City back in 2022. They always give difficulty to Real Madrid, and we see Atlético Madrid playing against these teams really well. So they are one of the best teams in the world. And the fact that Barcelona came in there with a lot of intensity, a lot of rhythm, and dominated the game, I think that this is probably the best performance Barcelona have given out. And I feel like if Barcelona can perform with the exact same intensity that we saw against Atlético Madrid, the exact same rhythm, and with the exact same lineup, this team can go so far. So I'm very optimistic on what Xavi Hernandez can do for this club this season. Let's see how we end in 6 months. So let's move on towards point number 1 on the first thing that we have learned from this match, and that is Pedri needing to do more when he is attacking. Because one thing is very clear, right? If you look at these pictures here, you can see that in the way that we set up when we have the ball, we have Araujo, Christensen, and Kounde as the 3 center backs behind the midway line, and then you have Gundogan and Frenkie as a double pivot, with Pedri being almost like a number 10. Now you can see that Joao Felix is also acting like a number 10, so Joao Felix and Pedri tuck in between the fullbacks and the striker, but Pedri is the highest one out of Gundogan and Frenkie. And so when you know that you have players like Gundogan and Frenkie forming the double pivot, being the deepest midfielders, Pedri has to be the one from the midfield that leads the attack, the one that can bring the assist and bring the goals, because he can't really ask that from 2 players who play very deep and have to play right next to our center backs like Frenkie and Gundogan. So you can see that the way that Xavi is structuring the team is he's either having Gundogan pick up the ball between Christensen and Araujo, or Frenkie de Jong picking up the ball between Christensen and Araujo. It varies, so their roles do change during the course of the attack, but Pedri's role during the attack does not change whatsoever. He is asked to attack constantly over and over again because he is in those positions. And so I feel like he needs to bring in much more goals, more assists, and he also does need to be more direct in his dribbling. Now, one may argue that that is not Pedri's game. Pedri's not the one that's able to make those direct dribbles to go on and attack in the counter, but I feel like Pedri needs to add that to his game to make himself better, to make himself go a step above, because Barcelona is going to be needing that. Like, for example, back on the 22nd minute during the match, there was a point where Araujo passed the ball to Lewandowski. Lewandowski lets the ball go through him, and it does go straight to Pedri. And you can see here that Pedri receives the ball but immediately loses it. And I felt like if Pedri was just a little better in terms of dribbling with the ball, being very direct, looking for the goals, looking for the one last pass to lead to a goal, this play could have ended much better. But Pedri doesn't really provide anything when it comes to him going on 1v2s or 1v1s. That is why he lost the ball. It's almost like he loses confidence. Like, he's great in other aspects of the game, like organizing play, retaining the ball, playing in deep areas, but we do need him in 1v2s. And in those situations, he does crumble. And as a number 10, when Xavi is putting you in those positions, you have to be better. That is why so many people glorify Bellingham or Florian Wirtz or Julian Alvarez, because these are players that play in the 10 position and they score goals and they provide assists. Pedri needs to do the exact same thing. Now let's move on towards point number 2, and that is going to be about Kounde. When Kounde plays in the right back position, he is world class. He's probably at the very least one of the best right backs in the world. And so I'm never going to understand why Jules Kounde speaks to the media and he says, I play much better as a center back. I enjoy playing as a center back and I feel more comfortable. I don't know why Kounde would say something like that when it is so clear that he is world class as a right back. He does look like he enjoys himself from our side when we are watching from the TV. He looks like he knows exactly what he's doing. And 4 weeks ago, I remember uploading a video that was titled "We Need the Old Barcelona Back," and part of that conversation was about putting Kounde back into the right back position because we want to see the Barcelona that we saw last season. And in this game against Atlético Madrid, we saw the old Barcelona back when we saw Araujo and Kounde stopping players like Morata, De Paul, Riquelme, Antoine Griezmann. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Barcelona that we all know. So I don't know why it took Xavi Hernandez 4 months to realize that the answer was already made, and it was last last season. Like if you wanted to fix your defensive issues from this season, go look at the previous season and what you did. And so I don't know what changed and what led towards this change after like not doing anything for 4 months this season and not going back to the original Kounde, Araujo, Christensen, Balde or Cancelo lineup. But I felt like it has something to do with Ronald Araujo commentating also to the media, stating that he does not enjoy playing as a right back. I think that once Araujo said that, it built more consensus within the team, and they're like, okay, fine. I feel like there's more of an understanding that is going on around here. Maybe Jules Kounde told Araujo, hey, I heard what you said to the media. It's okay, no worries. This is just where I enjoy playing at. But if it comes down to you not liking where you do play, and we all know that you are a great center back, I'll just move to the right back position in the meantime. And that is where the change did occur. And to me, that changed everything, because I just think that Kounde gives much more, and especially in the attack. Like look at these pictures here. You can see that Jules Kounde makes a overlapping run from Rafinha's pass, and then he makes like a great cross into the box that almost led to a goal. And that is something that Araujo cannot really bring you. As a matter of fact, Xavi Hernandez knows that, and he tells him to just sit deeper and not make those overlapping runs, because he knows the capabilities of Araujo. So Jules Kounde's crosses, his runs, his dribblings, it is top. So this has to be the way. And that is going to conclude point number 2. Now let's move on towards point number 3, and that is going to be about Xavi being very average in his subs. I'm not going to say that he is amazing in terms of his substitutions, and I'm also not going to say that he's like really weak and not strong in his substitutions. It's very average. And let me tell you guys why. I think that one of Xavi's strong points is how he tactically likes to take down the opposition. He always tries to find ways to dominate the ball, putting the players in the correct positions. But I just feel like when it comes to his subs, it's always incorrect. Like when was the last time we ever saw Xavi Hernandez make a few subs and then those subs ended up being very impactful that led towards a goal? A coach like Pep Guardiola does that all the time. A coach like even Ancelotti with Real Madrid, he does that all the time. But usually when Xavi Hernandez places his subs, they don't really do anything. I think the closest one that actually does something is probably Lamine Yamal, but everybody else is not really much. And not just that, I feel like he takes the wrong players out, like what happened against Atlético Madrid. He put in Ferran Torres and put in Lamine Yamal, and the two players that left was Joao Felix and Rafinha. And I'm like, really? You're gonna take off Felix, the one player that was gaining rhythm and scoring goals? Really, Felix and also Rafinha? But you don't want to take out Lewandowski? Lewandowski really has not been at his best, and that is why I do say that, you know, one of the reasons why Xavi's substitutions is kind of average is because he continues to use Lewandowski no matter how bad he does get. And so I feel like one of the reasons why Lewandowski has been performing at a very low level is because of either two things. It could be both, but two things. It's either fatigue or he's finished. But one thing is for sure, Lewandowski sometimes needs to be taken out. And I have no problem with seeing a front three of Joao Felix, Ferran Torres, and Lamine Yamal, because right now Lewandowski does not really provide anything. And I wish that he did, because he's a world-class striker. Like I seen Xavi Hernandez switch out some players that we saw in the beginning of the season constantly. Like for example, Oriol Romeo. He has not been good enough as of late, and that is why now we see Gundogan, Frankie, and Pedri. Especially with all these players now being healthy, he has no problem taking out Oriol Romeo and not even thinking about him during the games. No matter how good Oriol Romeo has been in the first 2 or 3 months. Same thing with Alejandro Balde. Alejandro Balde was very average in the last 2 or 3 months. He has been okay, average in defending, and okay and average in terms of the attack, but nothing exceptional, nothing close to what we saw last season. And that is why Cancelo has taken his spot. So no problem with that, but I don't know why when a player like Lewandowski does not really do much and he's very average, he does not take Lewandowski out. So now I do want to conclude with the last point, and that is point number 4, Joao Felix. Joao Felix can be one of the best in the world. One of the best. I think that he can be right next to Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland if he continues to go down through this path, because it can be very easy for him to like lose his concentration, lose his focus, and then just become a B tier player in the world of football. But that goal that he made against Atletico really put him in a position where we can say this guy is very talented on the ball, very close to Lionel Messi, because the type of goal that he scored was very Messi-like. And I think that there is a better possibility of Felix becoming one of the best in the world if you place him in a team like Barcelona. If you place Felix in a team like Chelsea or Inter Milan or AC Milan, you're not going to be seeing the best from Felix. But when you place him in a team like Barcelona, where they have the majority of the possession, where they always like to attack, you're going to get the best out of Felix. That is why he said what he said to the media. He prefers to play at a team like Barcelona because of what they do. And I feel like Felix really does want to represent Barcelona. Like for example, the Atlético Madrid president, before the match even started, he stated this: I hope Joao Felix does not celebrate if he scores a goal against us. And when we saw Felix like 24 hours later celebrate that goal against Atlético Madrid, we're like, okay, it's clear that he loves Barcelona and he really just wanted to celebrate because he was excited. He was putting Barcelona Barcelona a step forward. He didn't care if it looked like he was being a traitor to Atletico Madrid. That is how much he loves this Barcelona badge and what Barcelona has to offer for him. So I see him at a very good state, and I hope that he does stay in this good state, because that is going to be key. That is going to be the most important thing, because I don't care how much talent, how much technical ability you have, if you don't have your focus on and to 110%, then you're not going to be getting nowhere. But luckily for us, Felix does look like he's in the correct state, and this is what Felix also had to say after the match was over. Every single week they speak about me. I'm always a topic in the media, but I am calm. I don't look at what they say. I am only working hard to improve. Let me say thanks to Barcelona. They have welcomed me in the best way. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.